Hello my YouTube family, Josiah here with another Dark Souls 2 build and a series announcement. So first off, the build for those of you who would like to know, this is a glass cannon Hexer type build. I know that hexing is a very strong form of magic. I know that some of it just recently got nerfed actually, but it's a very potent form of magic, does lots of damage, and some of the hexes actually have very little chance to punish, so they were on the strong side. I'm not going to say overpowered, but I decided to make a character that would use hexes, not the overused and boring ones, although some of them, which may be more common, I'll be using, but some of the more interesting hexes and a glass cannon build. So I maximize my damage, but lower my defense to a point where it's pretty much abysmal, if you would. So let's go over the idea for this. The Primal Shamaness, as I'm calling her, looks very barbaric, looks very, just primal. I really love it. If you guys want to know what I feel ties it all together, is that it seems to be that there's a lot of bone, actually. So the armor that I'm wearing for the most part seems to be bone. The tiara, the Sanctum Priestess tiara, definitely looks like it's bone. As you see, like the teeth coming out of it. I'm not sure what kind of bone that would be, but it looks like one. And then we got the bone pauldrons over here. Very, very nice. It pulls it all together. We look very, very primal. Just very Neanderthal-ish, if you will. I don't know if that's a word. I love it though. It's not your typical fashion Souls. It's not pretty. It's not nice. It's in a way ugly, but very crude and awesome, if you ask me. So let's go over what we have equipped. So we have the raw roaring halberd. It's not maxed out yet. It'll do a bit more damage, but it has a skull on it, as well as a hand bone, and I don't think anything fits this build better than this. Not even the bone theme. It again looks very, very tribal, if you will. It all goes together in my mind very, very nicely. We had the Sanctum Shield. This is our catalyst. It's not quite bone. I know it does. If you look really closely, it's like metal, but it kind of, if you don't look too close, it kind of ties it all together, and this is also a catalyst. I've tried some other, like the staff, the witch tree branch, and all that, and it doesn't do it for me. I don't like it. I'll continue to try out more of the catalysts and stuff, but this will cast all my hexes that I need. The ones that normally require a chime and the ones that require a staff. I know it doesn't add very much damage to the hexes. They won't hit super hard, but I think I'm content with that for now. As I get better with this build, it probably won't matter so much. But yeah, that's the important stuff right there. We have the Sanctum Priestess tiara, the Banded Armor plus 10, Lion Mage Cuffs, and Skirt. These actually increase my casting speed, so I have a very high casting speed, nearly 300, and it's nice for sure, but they also look perfect for my character, if you ask me. We have a Clear Bluestone Ring plus 2, again, more casting speed. This may actually be superfluous, and I may try switching it out. Let me know if you guys have experimented a lot with casting speed. Southern Ritual Band plus 2. These hexes require a lot of attunement. I think I have like 11 or 12 slots for the 5 hexes that I'm using. It's kind of crazy, but I'm trying to make it work here. Third Dragon Ring. I have low base HP, so this actually isn't that amazing, and my stamina isn't very high by default either. But this is giving me the HP, the stamina, and the equip load. And I really need the equip load to wear Gowers, because Gowers weighs 10 pounds. This will reduce the damage I take from behind, so if I do play my cards right, I can reduce a lot of the damage incoming, so I'm not so glass cannony when I'm getting hit from behind. But it breaks very fast, it's very heavy, it's definitely a ring that has great power, but also a great cost, an opportunity cost to it, and that is, I have to wear rings to make this ring kind of work. It gives me a nice spooky aura, and I know that there's a ghost on my back, and I actually think that is awesome for this character. I think it adds more character to the character, to use that word again. I'm really loving this so far. And here are the stats. 10 vigor. Yeah, I know it's really low. You guys probably are like, whoa, you're 150, and you only have 10 vigor, 1200 health. And I know that the average PvPer has double my health, but I'm going to try to make this work. I do random invasions for the most part, so people won't be extremely skilled, I don't think. And if I do run into them, then I guess I can just try to match my skill back. I don't know. We'll see. I wanted to switch it up, and I really wanted the offense to be there, and it's still not amazing offense. I'm sure that there are people with 150 builds that'll use hexes and do more damage than me, probably just because of the catalyst differences, but it's okay. We'll make this work, we'll figure it out, we'll get it all nice and good for PvP. But yeah, 10 vigor, 30 endurance, decent amount of stamina. 11 vitality, that's the exact number I need to use this ring and Gowers and not be over encumbered. I actually tried 10 and 10 didn't work. That's why I'm level 151. 40 attunement, that gives me the 7 default attunement slots. We actually have 10 total. 16 strength and dex, that's for the Roaring Halberd, which I know isn't the strongest weapon, but again, we're kind of going for things other than min-maxing here. 6 adaptability, that plus the attunement that I have gives me nearly 100 agility, not quite. 40 35 faith. We actually used a lot of skeptics and what is the other one? Simpleton spices to make these hexes castable, usable for me at a level 150 build. I think it's kind of hard to make a hex build this low a level and not have a lot of sacrifices, but there's the entire sheet, if you will. There are some things I need to get upgraded a little more. I'll probably have to beat Nishandra. I just didn't want to delay because you guys can see everything as is. And then the hexes, the most important part. I almost forgot, actually. So, first thing I have is Scraps of Life. You guys have probably seen this a lot. It's like a firestorm for hexes. It casts pretty quickly. I like it. I think it fits the character. I don't know. I don't know exactly why I feel like it does. Just like primal looking dark fire. I don't know. This is probably the most overused hex that I have, the most common one. But I think that considering that I have so much or so low HP, and I don't actually hit insanely hard, and I have to get close to use this, I think that there's a balancing factor here. I can't just I'm not a Havel monster running up at people casting this and constantly spamming it before they stand up and knocking them back down. I think that this, if at all, being used with any build, mine is probably one of the most balanced to use it. But yeah, I have to get up close, and it's very dangerous, so there's some risks to this. Life Drain Patch, my new favorite hex. I actually made a video on this. It makes a little cloud. It'll damage me, and it does damage to stamina, and it'll damage enemies as well, obviously. Costs 3,000 souls. It's really good. I love it. It kind of needs the opponent to not know what it is, which happens a lot of times in my experience. And then they'll just walk in it, which is pretty funny. Or you need to try to use it as a wake-up when you knock them down. So like if I cast Scraps of Life and they're standing up and I cast this, it's a pretty good follow-up in my opinion. It'll do damage to their stamina and everything. And the other use is that, like, you kind of trapped them in a small corridor, or they ran away to Flask and they're against the wall. It could be used then. Affinity was one I really didn't want to use, but I kind of needed another slot to fill it with, and I think that Affinity, while it is automatic, did just get nerfed, and it's not quite as boring as Dark Hail or Dark Orb, where you stun it out of. You do still have to kind of get close for Affinity. It will home and all that, but you got to kind of get close, and considering, again, that I'm so low, so defensively weak, I think this is a decent hex for me to use. Probably one of my hardest hitting, so I don't think I would spam it. Excuse me, I am getting tongue twisted. I don't think I'll use it too often and kind of spam it. I do have a lot of casts of it, but I'll probably cast it like before the fight starts and then go after the player. Dark Greatsword, really cool. I actually don't like that it uses a projectile. Personally, I think that I don't know, it just looks weird for the character. I think if it was just a sword, it would look a lot better for the character. But I think it's fine. I think it's one of the more viable weapons in forms of a hex that I'm using. And that I kind of need it to a certain extent. I may experiment with other stuff. This is the one that, I know that I was saying I wasn't sure about Affinity, but this is the one that I might get rid of. It requires the highest int too, that's why I have 40. I think it has a lot of versatility, and it could be a lot of fun though. It has close range except for the long range projectile. And then Profound Still. The other thing that is going to kind of probably destroy me is caches with like Soul Spear, Soul Greatsword, the really quick sorceries that'll hit super hard. I know that some of them just got nerfed again, but I think that'll be the biggest problem for me. And this, let me read it just to be sure, should blocks the spells of nearby casters. I think I can still cast, right? I actually haven't even checked yet. Yeah, I can still cast. So this will give that aura, and then they won't be able to just spam spells at me and one-shot me if one of them I happen to fail dodging. Wow, it's actually, I talked for 10 minutes, but I'm really excited about this build. And the last part, I probably shouldn't have saved this for the end. The last part is that I'm gonna do a series. I'm gonna do a weekly series where I'll use one build, I'll PvP with it every day and record some matches, and then after the end of the week, to keep things new and fresh, we're gonna make a new build every week until probably the new DLC, or maybe even just Bloodborne. Well, the new DLC is actually just a week away. So yeah, probably until Bloodborne comes out, we'll keep doing this. It's gonna be a lot of fun. It's gonna be a lot of variety. So I hope you guys are looking forward to some of this. And I know that I won't like reach an amazing skill cap with the builds if I'm only playing it for a week. But I think it'll be more entertaining, and I think we'll have a lot of fun. I'm sorry I was so long-winded, guys. Thank you for your time. Hopefully you've enjoyed the video, and expect some PvP to come soon. Alright, love you guys. God bless.